Matt Maranz, who I worked with at the Mothership, a very, very talented producer, now the executive producer of Friday Night Tykes, joins us on the show. What was the reaction like after the season premiere of Friday Night Tykes, Matt?
Well, hey, Dan, the reaction was really interesting. People really found the show compelling. But in terms of the behavior of the coaches, the reaction was a little bit mixed. There were a lot of people who thought that it was disturbing, kind of like you did, distasteful, and maybe not what coaches should be doing around kids who are 8 and 9 years old. But there also was a group of people who thought this is exactly what we should be doing our 8 and 9-year-old kids, and this is exactly the type of coach that I want my kid to play for. So the reaction was quite mixed.
Would you want your kids to play for these coaches?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. Yes and no. Youth sports are important. I was an athlete. You were an athlete growing up, and we know the value that sports can teach. And these kids, the coaches are convinced that they are making the kids better, that they believe that, we are too soft on our kids and we're coddling our kids and we're enabling them to fail. And they'll take it to the next leap and say, as a society, we're failing because we're too soft on our kids now. All important things and all things I probably would agree with. We probably are a little too soft on our kids. I'm not sure that we need to go to this extreme to, accomplish those goals.
Why this league, Matt?
Well, always we're interested in youth sports. I'm a youth sport parent, and, I've been, held hostage to youth sports over weekends where you just travel around with your kid playing games. So youth sports I always thought was an interesting topic. Some colleagues of ours down in Texas, Electrofish Films and the Texas crew, found the Texas Youth Football Association. What was kind of intriguing about them is, they very proudly proclaim that they are the most competitive youth football league in America. It's something that they carry as a badge of honor, and just thought that was an interesting setting to really have a conversation about what the role of youth sports should be in America.
Did you ever feel like any of these kids were in real danger when you're filming this?
I don't know if they were any more real danger than any other football player. That's kind of a cop-out of an answer.
But that's not an answer.
Football is a dangerous game. It's a violent game.
Yeah, but these are 8 and 9-year-olds, man. We understand when kids are playing in high school, college, and the pros, but these are 8 and 9-year-olds.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The coaches do teach proper tackling techniques. They understand all the concussion protocols. When there's a helmet-to-helmet contact, in practice, they stop practice and they try and teach. They're 8 and 9-year-olds, which means they don't have great body awareness. A lot of these kids also are scared. When you're scared as an 8 and 9-year-old and you see a kid coming at you, a reaction could be to close your eyes, duck my head, kind of turn away, because for an 8 and 9-year-old, if I don't see it coming at me, it's not going to hit me. But, when you put your head down in football, it's about the worst thing you can do. So it's a concern. I agree. 8 and 9-year-olds, it's a tough age to be having these kids hit this much.
What makes for great TV, though, when you're filming this? Nobody wants to watch just like form, technique, and coaches being nice, and we have oranges and a positive reinforcement. Let's face it. You want drama. You want guys who are going overboard here. You want stuff where these kids collide. You got the heavyset kid who's running. They forget that he's jogging. Guy throwing up, and they're saying blow chunks, and then get back out there.
Yeah, there's no doubt that it's intense, and there's no doubt that it's competitive, and that's the league that we were following. This is not manufactured. This isn't staged. This isn't like reality TV where we set up situations. Snoop Dogg's not showing up to coach a team. Your pal Tony Dungy's not showing up in episode 7 to leave, give defensive pointers. This is really what was happening. It happened long before we showed up, and it's probably going to happen long after we leave. This is what they do, and this is who they are in the Texas Youth Football Association.
But do you also look at this and say cameras make people different?
Sure.
You react differently. These coaches, when the camera's on and camera's not on, difference between what they play into the camera?
Yeah, of course, they're not really playing for the camera. Now, definitely cameras, I'm not naive to think that, cameras don't enhance behavior. I'm acting differently because I know I'm on the radio, and you're acting differently a little bit because you're on the radio. So there's definitely a little bit of that. But this was going on. This is who they are. These guys have very good self-awareness of who they are and what they're doing. All we did was show up and film what people, were doing anyway. Even if we weren't there, this is going on.
Will there be a season 2?
That's a good question. It's way too early. It's always a function of success and popularity and ratings and things like that. So it's a little premature.
But have you shot the entire season already?
Yeah, The season ended in mid-December with the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah. Judging from the reaction, and whether it's positive or negative, you still got people reacting to a show that's on Esquire Network. So it's people are finding this, and that has to be a good thing, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good thing, and everyone's you produce shows that you want people to watch, but I know everyone's comparing it to Toddlers and Tiaras, and you did it as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the comparison is really fair in terms of we're trying to create something sensational. Obviously, you want to create compelling programming, just like you want to do on the radio and stuff. But Toddlers and Tiara is sensational programming. You're looking at a fringe activity, and you're showcasing it because it's extreme, and you're trying to create shock value and for entertainment value. I'm not sure this falls under that category. There aren't tens of millions of kids in America, signing up for youth beauty pageants, but there are tens of millions of American kids playing youth sports. By far, it's the number one extracurricular activity. It dominates, the kids' life outside of school. It's worthy of a conversation to find out, is what we're doing good for our kids or is it bad for our kids? I don't think it's sensational to ask the question, and this is what I think the essence of the show is. How should we be raising our kids? I don't think that's a sensational question.
Any stories that you would like to relate to my audience from our days at the mothership?
Yeah, I don't think I've spoken to you since I was busting you up on the basketball court at the Southington YMCA.
I will say this. Great passer.
Thank you. Well, no, I would always have to defend you. You're a good player, Dan, no doubt about that. And I think it's safe to say that you were the greatest Sports Center anchor basketball player of your era, and maybe the GOAT, maybe the greatest of all time. They always said Kilborn could play, but he never would play with us. So if you're not the GOAT, at least you're in the conversation.
Hey, good luck with this. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it.
Matt Maranz used to be at the mothership.